Hey everybody. So today we're going to learn how to install snaps. For a lot of you, you probably know how to do this, but I've talked to a lot of people who have a hard time setting snaps. So I figured we could do a video talking about a few different ways to set snaps, some old ways, some newer ways, some tools, etc. And we'll just kind of go through it and show you how to get it done so you can add snaps to your projects really easily. So first little history lesson, this was kind of the basic hand setting tool for snaps for a long time. This one is actually for an eyelet because honestly we haven't had a hand setting tool in the shop for probably 10 years. But they generally looked the same, and you would have two sets of these. You would have one that had like a ring around it, and that would be for the post of the snap. So you would set that in there, and you would put your leather, and then you would put your male end on top. And then this part, you would kind of hammer it down, boom, 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 and then your snap would be set. Same thing with eyelets, same thing with everything, rivets, pop rivets, whatever. So this used to be a cheap hand setting set, right? It still is, you can still buy them, they're cheap. I stopped using them because it's very easy for, if you're using a piece of hardware where the post is a little too long for the thickness of your leather, it's very easy to install your snap crooked. So, once you got to the point where you were installing a few more snaps or you wanted more consistency, you would get a press, which we have, if you want to point over there, we have our weaver presses over there. You guys have seen those, but Kayleen will move to those really quick, I guess. I don't know. And so you would take this and you would get rid of it. Oh, jeez Louise. You would get rid of it and you would get a set of dies. Now, the dies are basically the same exact thing as the hand setting tools, but you would put them in the press. One would go there, your leather would go on top, you would put the other piece, and then when you pull the handle down, boop, it sets your snap. That's boop. How, boop. I don't know how else to say it. And that's how dies work. So, I've been doing this a lot lately, but at risk of sounding like an infomercial, as we get to know Buckle Guy's catalog better, because we just started working with them in a more in-depth way than just buying from them once every couple months, there's a much better way to do all of this. They have come up with it, and I'm going to share that with you because, to be honest, these don't really work that well if you're setting a lot of snaps, and these work great. I'm not going to lie to you. We love our weaver presses. They're great. But the problem is that you have to fully upgrade everything when you want to switch from your hand presses from hand tools to a press. With Buckle Guy, you don't have to do that. But the Buckle Guy system is a little bit different. It starts off with this universal base and this universal handle that has nothing, right? Then you pick what you want to set. So we're going to go with some line 20s here, just solid brass. I'm going to go with one of each here. Now this would be the hand tool way, right? You can't afford a press, you don't want to buy a press. There are also actually uses, now that we have these in the shop, I've been actually using the hand press for things, and I'll explain to you. You can get into like crevices and set rivets a lot easier with the hand press, with the hand tool setup, than you can with the press. So that's also kind of a really cool thing as well. Now, the way that this works is you buy your die set that you would use for your machine. With this system, your base slides right into there, and it's like machined ridiculously well, like it does like it sinks and displaces air. Your top set of the die just screws in the handle, like that, and that's it. So you put your line 20. This is the cap die, so you're going to go the cap there. I have just scrap here, and put that in. Then the female end, and then you just put you use your tool that you screwed in your die, and then with a maul. And that's it. It's set. And then, to set the other side, we take that out, we put our base plate in. And this base plate for snaps is so that you can slide that little guy on top there. And let's do it so we can actually snap this. So, I think that's the right way. So you go like that. You screw this on. These have nice chunky threads, so it really doesn't take that long. It's like 2 seconds to switch between. But if you wanted to as well, you could also get two bases, so you always have the setup ready to go to set both sides. And then this is the piece to set this male end. So you're just going to line it up. And that's it. Everything's set. Everything's lined up. Snaps perfectly. I literally, like, I just got these like a week ago. So you're watching me kind of experience it. I know I sound like the ShamWow guy telling you to go buy, buy everything and etc. But this is like so much better of a hand setting system than this old style. To be honest with you, even me, like to this day, when I use this eyelet setter, because we don't have eyelet dies because we don't use a lot of eyelets, I'm like 60% on this thing. I'm cutting them out more than I'm setting a good one. With this, everyone comes out perfect. It's just
is that why you put it off?
Huh?
Is that why you put them
Yeah,
off?
that's why we have a pile of eyelets that I need to put in. I'm so bad at it with the traditional one, but with this one, I can do every single one. I haven't screwed one up yet. So then the really cool thing is when you want to take it apart, you just unscrew this, you take this out, and you're good to go. The other thing I want to show you is, because this is like a more stable, you have this really thick base. They have dies for everything. This is the pop rivet die. Now, if you want to set a pop rivet and you don't care about the dome, you could just do it on your granite block, right? If you want to hammer it flat, you put one end through, you pop that on. I'm going to grab a pounder here. And that's set. But this is a really, really long pop rivet for one layer of leather. So it's set super crooked. And that tends to happen in our other presses too. I don't know why. I can't explain why this works better in this one, but we're going to use the same length rivet in this hand press, or in this hand tool, and you just screw on the matching, it's just 2 cupped little dies here, and if you tap it slow and steady, it sets perfect, it keeps the dome, and it's not crooked at all. You can see the two comparatively. So the rivet one is the one that I really love in hand tool form, and I'll show you why in a second. I have to go grab the bag. So this is a cobbler's anvil. I recommend everyone get one because you can use them for so many things. They're usually like 20 bucks in antique stores or $5 at flea markets, and you would put a shoe on, but I use it for bags a lot when I forget things. So say you're making a bag like this and you forgot to set your rivets there, right? You can't really fit, if you don't have a press that doesn't stick out over your bench, you can't really fit it in there. With the hand die, all you do is you kind of balance that on there. Okay, it's not perfectly easy, but it's possible. So you put this thing right in there, and boom, you're setting the rivets that you forgot. I've done that. I've actually used this more for this purpose than anything else. So it is nice to buy the press, but having the hand version in such a stable form, you forget everything every once in a while. It's really, really helped me out. You have the hand tool. You've started making more stuff, and you're like, all right, I'm ready to upgrade. I'm ready for a press because I don't want to be doing this by hand all the time. Normally, with the old style tools, you get rid of these, scrap them, and you go get yourself some dies. With this set, you already have the dies. All you have to do is buy the press. This is Buckle Guy's press. Swing Swish sponsors. I'm sure you've all seen it with different YouTubers. All of a sudden, their shop's full of the other sponsors' stuff. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you we don't like the Little Wonder. The Little Wonder's wonderful. Obviously, it's in the name. However, after using this for a while, we are switching to these, and I'm going to show you why. And this is the big reason I wanted to make this video, is because it's a much better system in use, but also in budget. Because if you own these and you've been setting by hand, A, these are way better hand setters than I've ever used before. But B, all you do is buy the machine. This die set that you already own goes right into the machine. So the reason I'm okay sounding sales pitchy is because a hand setting set like this is going to run you about 30 bucks from anywhere to Handy Weaver, whatever. A die set this is the Weaver die set, this is $140 and it only works in the press. This universal base is $25. Their entire die set for line 20 snaps is $38. And what do I have? Their die sets for pop rivets are $25. So you're saving $100, and it is primo in comparison to a lot of these other systems with the hand tool settings. So it is a little sales pitchy, but you're saving a bunch of money, and honestly, these are super, super nice. All your sets that you have, you just screw them in, and they work. And that's it. So you're ready to go. I don't know if this is set for this thickness, but we'll give it a go. So obviously this isn't attached to anything, but this is the same set that I just used in the holder. We'll put that there. And we have a perfectly set snap. We unscrew this.
Righty-tighty.
Yeah, but I'm like backwards. We unscrew this. There we go. We put that in. It does have a screw to hold it if you want to like tighten it, but if you want to know a secret, I don't think me and Kayleen have ever tightened that screw in any press we've ever had.
Never.
This is going to be for the other half, and then I know this is the boring stuff, but I got to show you how it works. And then we'll get into why. There are a lot of reasons I like this press, even though it's not as... I mean, it's a beast. It's cast iron. This is old school, how they used to make them. The finishing isn't as pretty, but this thing is heavy duty. This is going to be the other... My fingers are too big. The other side. No, it's not. That's the wrong one. Oh, going in blind here. That there. That there. Oh my god, my fingers are so big for this. And there you go. So obviously this is quicker, right? Now the thing that I really like about this press compared to the Little Wonder is you have this arm that is 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 inches long. And I uninstalled this to bring it out to the filming bench, but I'm going to temporarily install it on the bench really quick to show you why in practice, while this doesn't look as shiny and new, it looks a little more old school, why in practice I really like this one a little bit better than the Little Wonder, and why we're switching to them. So if we look at the Little Wonder, we're mounted about 1 inch over. Anything more than that, it gets a little unstable. I'm not trying to trash. This is a beautiful press. I love it. I love that you can press down like this. It's great. But the problem I have is that this is very shallow. And if you forget something, you have to go in by hand and do something. Now let's go back to the Buckle Guy press. This is a big selling point for me. So with the Buckle Guy press, you can install this press 5 inches out from the table. So just like before when I got the cobbler's anvil, and I was putting the bag on, if you forget to put a rivet in or something, you can take this press. This is the wrong one to... Okay, we have to undo the handle on this one first. So say I forget a snap or a rivet down here somewhere, or I want to add one, you can slide this all the way in and get 4 or 5 inches deep on that. And that is way more helpful than you would imagine when you get into a bind and you're like, oh, how am I going to install a snap or a rivet or something that I forgot to install? The downside is, it is a personal preference. The handle is not a pull handle, it's a push handle, but you can hook this up to be a foot press. So we're replacing our bank of Weaver presses with these specifically for this, for the dies, because we can take them out and use them by hand as well, and also so that we can hook up the foot press. So basically it's a chain from here, comes down. I'm not going to show you my feet because I'm barefoot right now, but you use your foot to press and you don't have to use your hands at all. That's important because one of the things you have to battle in leatherwork is repetitive motion. There are weeks where Kaylina or I will be on a press doing this 800 times in a day, 1,000 times in a day. One time, actually, Kaylina has twins. We were at the bowling alley eating dinner, and I threw one up in the air. I had just punched out 600 pieces that day, tore one rotator cuff, went to catch her. She was only 2.5. Caught her with one arm, tore my other rotator cuff. And it was all due to repetitive motion of just this over and over and over again. Now, obviously I don't have the best core strength. I'm a little husky. But if you get into work where you're doing a lot of repetitive stuff, being able to use your legs, being able to have different options to switch between hand and foot, that becomes much more important than you would imagine. And so having the opportunity or the option to go either by hand or by foot, depending on how often you're using it, how many things you're doing, or just what your space requirement is, that to me is a big asset with this machine. So that's going to be it for this video. Setting snaps is super simple. This kind of goes for the same way for, we showed you rivets. Eyelets are the same way. Eyelets are really easy on this setup. And the ability to not only upgrade with less money, not having to double buy tools, but to have the option of setting by machine or simply pulling this out and setting by hand if you want to get into areas that are hard to get with the machine. That's why we're switching to the Buckle Guy system. And it's not because they're sponsoring the video. I'll be completely honest with you. We've been on the Weaver system for 3 months now that we've been switched over to Buckle Guy, and we put this through its paces, and I was like, yeah, we got to switch this. And it takes a lot for, we kind of we dig our heels in the sand. We don't switch often with anything at this point. But that is how you set really nice snaps. Don't let setting hardware hold you back. Once you learn how to set hardware, it opens up a ton of different projects for you to make, and this system makes it really, really simple to do. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm sorry about these sales pitchy sound. To me, it sounds like a sales pitch. You guys are always so nice in the comments saying, no, we didn't even know this existed. Thank you for telling us about this. And we try to be really selective. We don't try to sell you on anything ever, but this is worth looking into because even for us, it's made our leatherwork more enjoyable, and it's also made us more consistent, and it's made the end product, especially with the pop rivets, setting the pop rivets, we lose a lot less hardware. We have to cut out a lot fewer things. We have to remake a lot fewer things. And it gives us the flexibility. We don't have to wait for hardware to come in. If we have pop rivets that are a little bit too long or snaps that are a little bit too long, we can still use them. And if you can get them set, they're even stronger because they got a bunch of material and they're holding them together. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Check it out. Link will be in the description if you want to check all this stuff out. And we'll see you in the next one.